Hafaday, welcome. The public hearing is now called to order. Today's Monday, April 26, 2021. The time is now about 5:40 p.m. Notices for this public hearing were disseminated via email to all senators and all main media broadcasting outlets on Monday, April 19, and again on Friday, April 23, 2021, and the notice was also published in the Guam Daily Post on those same dates. This hearing is being conducted utilizing a hybrid meeting format to allow for both the physical attendance of hearing participants here at the Guam Congress Building Public Hearing Room and the virtual attendance via the Guam Legislature's Zoom meeting platform. It's hosted by the Guam Legislature's MIS staff and committee staff, and I thank them for their assistance. The host will mute all Zoom participants until called upon by the chair. Each member of the panel will be allowed to pose questions to those testifying as is needed. We will take rounds doing that. I'd like to thank my colleagues for attending this evening's hearing, beginning with the Minority Leader, Senator Cruz Dueñas, and Senator Joanne Brown. Thank you, Senators, for joining us today. The agenda item for tonight, there's just one agenda item, and that is resolution number 63-36 COR, introduced by Therese M. Terlaje, Christopher M. Dueñas, Telena Cruz Nelson, Tina Rose Muña Barnes, Amanda L. Shelton, Sabina Flores Perez, Frank Blas Jr., Clynton E. Ridgell, Joe S. San Agustin, Jose Pedo Terlaje, V. Anthony Ada, Joanne Brown, James C. Moylan, Telo T. Taitague, Mary Camacho Torres, relative to respectfully requesting the United States Congress to support community project funding for the construction of an expanded Guam Fishermen's Co-op facility and the correlating expansion of Guam's community fishing industry. As the sponsor of the resolution, I'm going to briefly introduce it. The realization of an enhanced and safer Fishermen's Co-op facility has been a long-standing mission of the Guam Fishermen's Co-op Association, led by the tireless dedication of President Manny Dueñas, association members, the local fishing community, and lawmakers. Plans for the facility were drafted in 2005 and in 2017. A groundbreaking for the facility was finally held in 2017. However, the project has since been delayed by various challenges, which include necessary design changes to comply with flood zone regulations and to address poor soil conditions near the seawall, which have significantly raised the cost of completing the project, as well as delays from the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Guam Fishermen's Co-op Association, and Mr. Ken Flores, chairperson of the building committee overseeing the project, they are in the final stages of completing the design and have reapplied for an Army Corps of Engineer permit for the new seawall and a permit from DPW for the new building design. They state that they expect the permitting process to begin late this month or in early May. So I want to thank Mr. Flores, who's here today with us. Thank you for joining us and for your efforts in this regard. And I want to thank all of those at the Fishermen's Co-op for their continued work on this project over many years. We've witnessed this. And the 36th Guam Legislature is undertaking these efforts at the urging and in support of the Congressman San Nicolas' efforts to secure community project funding and grants through the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations for fiscal year 2022 to assist the Guam Fishermen's Cooperative Association with completing the construction of its new facility and the correlating expansion of our local fishing industry. And therefore, resolution number 63-36, if passed by the Guam Legislature, will be sent to the United States Congress in support of that submission by the Congressman. We've received written testimony in support of resolution number 63-36 from Congressman Michael F. Q. San Nicolas, which I will now read into the record. Congress of the United States, House of Representatives, Washington, D.C. Imina 36 na legislature in Guam, Resolution number 63-36 COR. Public hearing testimony provided by Congressman Michael F. Nicholas, Monday, April 26, 2021. Hafa Day Speaker Terlaje, Minority Leader Dueñas, and all senators of Imina 36 na legislature in Guam. Thank you for your leadership in advocating for the needs of all those who call Guam home, and for providing me the opportunity to speak on an important congressional program which can facilitate our island's economic prosperity. While this legislative body is critical to comprehensively serving our community with local policies, our collaboration in endeavors at the national level have historically delivered significant results to our people and bring the promise of continued efficacy. Congress has introduced an incredible opportunity to channel federal dollars directly to Americans for community-centered projects through the House Committee on Appropriations. More specifically, Team Guam is utilizing the Community Project Funding Program to advocate for and help empower our local community members with a funding request to support the construction of an expanded Guam Fishermen's Co-op facility. Securing a community project funding award will historically allocate federal monies directly to our people at the grassroots level. For decades, we have discussed the criticality of diversifying Guam's economy, and we should successfully secure federal funding to complete the co-op facility reconstruction. We will make strides in achieving this goal. It is widely understood that tourism is the stronghold of our economy. As our island's single largest industry, it generates $1.4 billion annually, represents 60% of Guam's annual business revenue, and employs over 18,000 of our residents. The industry's sensitivity, however, is equally undeniable, and the emergence of COVID-19 has dramatically emphasized this reality. Similar to many countries around the world, the impacts of the global pandemic have significantly affected our economic stability. In particular, a standstill for international travel has decimated our tourism industry, with 76% less visitors coming to Guam in the first 10 months of 2020 compared to the same period in 2019, and an estimated $1.38 billion loss of local income and spending. While the financial challenges our households and businesses have faced in the past year have been alleviated by U.S. federal government pandemic assistance, this aid will soon dissipate as our nation begins to regain its economic footing. Moreover, as we look to the future with the knowledge of tourism's inherent vulnerabilities, the hope of regaining stable economic conditions, a continued reliance on tourism as Guam's primary industry would be detrimental to our community, its permanent economic security, and its goals of growth. Over several years, our community has demonstrated an enthusiastic commitment to developing a new fishermen's co-op for the island, and the compounded benefits of a new co-op facility has been widely recognized by our island leaders. Legislature in Guam had passed laws pre-COVID providing funding mechanisms for the facility's renovation. Imagahagan Guam has also demonstrated clear administrative support for this path of economic diversification by allocating funds from available local resources to bolster this project. Although local funding has put the project in motion, it has not been enough to both address the major challenges that have emerged since its groundbreaking and bring it to completion. Senators of Imina 36 na legislature in Guam, we need direct and substantial investment in the reconstruction and expansion of the Guam Fishermen's Co-op facility. We need to revitalize and diversify our local economy with the elevation of our fishing industry, deepen our understanding of our ever-important marine ecosystem, and foster new and existing avenues of cultural preservation in an increasingly modernized world. As a pillar of food sustainability and local fishing traditions, the co-op's renovation is fundamentally intertwined with our collective health, climate crisis responses, and connection to history and identity. As a center for marine research and regional commerce, a renovated co-op will also serve as a resource for well-informed policies and greater economic standing. A new and improved co-op facility is key to opening doors to the future prosperity of Guam, and securing community project funding is presently the most direct opportunity to bring this long-awaited multi-phase project across the finish line. Community engagement and support is crucial to determining if a project is worthy of federal funding. With the mission of serving our people and meeting the unique needs of our community, your voice as our island's leaders is incredibly significant to ensuring the strongest possible application for community project funding. Further, a priority of this body is to realize a more prosperous future for our people. The overwhelming benefits of this project's success cannot be overstated, and the federal funding we can obtain to support its completion will afford us the opportunity to focus local resources on other important programs. I respectfully request that this legislative body move to pass Resolution Number 63-36 COR, which would express full support of the renovation and expansion of the Guam Fishermen's Co-op facilities, request congressional support with community project funding, and in turn strengthen our chances of securing federal monies for the Guam Fishermen's Co-op Association. You will move forward a long-standing community desire to diversify our economy, revitalize it with a renewed focus on our existing resources, foster our cultural ties to the sea, and effectively uplift our community. Sincerely, Michael F. Cusa-Nicholas, Member of Congress, Guam. We have also received written testimony in support of Resolution Number 63-36 from Guam Fishermen's Co-op Association President Manuel P. Dueñas and Kin Flores, Co-op 2000 Committee Chairperson, and Mr. Flores is here with us today. And we've also received testimony from Victor Artero, who's also a member of the Guam Fishermen's Co-op Association Board of Directors. So we will now hear from Mr. Flores. Mr. Flores, you have the floor.
Madam Speaker, Senator Dueñas, Senator Brown, thank you again for taking the time this evening to hear this valuable request for additional funding. My name, for the record, is Kin Flores, Kin for short. I was recently voted as a member of the board for the Fishermen's Co-op for the first time. It's in October 2019. And immediately was voted as committee chair for the project to help implement and see that this project comes to fruition. So I have some testimony, and I have also provided additional documents for the Senate. One being the detailed plans or plans for the co-op, and I hope that some of the renderings for their architectural renderings were also provided to the Senate. Okay, as well. So with that, I'd like to start with a written testimonial letter for this resolution and in favor of our support and relative to and respectively requesting the United States Congress to support community project funding for the construction of an expanded Guam Fishermen's Co-op facility and correlating expansion of Guam's community fishing industry as sponsored by the entire Senate. Thank you very much for that. Dear Madam Speaker and Senators of the 36th Guam Legislature, on behalf of the members of the Fishermen's Cooperative Association, the GFCA, we respectfully request the passage of Resolution 6336 and offer our support as testimony for said passage. In short, the Fishermen's Co-op is very much looking forward to seeing come to fruition the construction of a new operational facility, the installation of protective seawall, as well as to house ancillary fishery-related support activities within the confines of the new facility. While the co-op has received funding towards this endeavor, the costs of the entire project would require additional funding to complete the plans for a multi-purpose fishery facility. To that end, we are hopeful that the passage of Resolution 63-36, our island's Congressman Michael F. Cusa-Nicholas will in turn use the resolution and accompanying supporting statements to arm his efforts in securing federal funds to augment the shortfall of our current project cost projections. We then offer the following statement of support. As some background, and again, Madam Speaker and Senator Dueñas, Senator Brown, I wish I had our president of the co-op, Mr. Manny Dueñas, here with me, as he is a co-signatory of this letter. Manny is, by doctor's orders, in bed, resting. after some medical procedures that have been done, but I offer his apologies for not being here tonight. But a little bit of background. The Guam's Fishermen's Co-op Association, a nonprofit tax-exempt domestic corporation, was first registered with the government of Guam on December the 9th, 1977, and assigned charter number D-3551. The co-op's basic premise for existence is to allow local fishermen to assemble as a group to market their catch, as well as to procure supplies such as fuel and ice that otherwise may be economically difficult to procure as individuals. The initial location of the co-op was a stall within the compound of the old Guam Public Market, now known as the Chamorro Village. Eventually, the co-op moved to its present location in an old Butler tin structure at the Agustin Boat Basin, also known as the Gregorio Dueñas Perez Marina. The structure sits on government of Guam land, and again, I would like to emphasize, through the cooperation and approval by the legislature, we now have a long-term lease for that government land. And the co-op holds a long-term lease on the property, as I mentioned. The current structure is situated such that the property allows for expansion. Approximately 2 acres, I believe, is what has been leased out to the co-op. The structure has been retrofitted to allow areas for fish processing, cold storage room, a fuel pump monitoring room, and storefront operations. Over the years, and aside from normal structural upkeep, the co-op has made numerous repairs to the original structure due to typhoon damage. The co-op has also situated modified shipping containers on the property that function as office and storage facilities. The co-op's current structure, as mentioned, has been battered by various typhoons that struck the island over the years. Despite the repair work made over the years, the structure is extremely in poor condition and in dire need of replacement and upgrades. In order to be a functional, profitable venture, the co-op requires a structure that can withstand typhoon-force winds, as well as accommodate the latest in safe seafood processing and product handling. Due to the poor condition of its current building, the co-op's board established the Co-op 2000 Committee, which is tasked with developing a plan for a new facility, one that meets all the standards of safe seafood handling, processing, and storage. Also required is the installation of a seawall along the property abutting the boat basin's channel to prevent erosion and property damage from surging storm waters. Aside from the construction of a seawall and a new building to house the co-op's base operation, the Co-op 2000 Committee also envisioned a facility that will include housing of ancillary activities, including but not limited to a learning center, marine monitoring station, vendor spaces for tenants to promote and supply local fisheries industry, and space for value-added product development of locally caught fish stock. Based on this vision, the co-op plans to approach the project through the following construction stages. And these are not necessarily in sequence. Some of these now have changed to be in concurrent activities. Number one is the placement of the seawall. The first floor building structure components, including seafood handling, receiving, the dock, from the dock, processing room, storage, a new fuel pump monitoring station and office, customer storefront equipped with display cases, manager's office, and some of the vendor spaces that we envision, long-term and anchor tenant for restaurant services that have co-op fish stocks on their menu, including the vending of co-op's added value product development of smoked fish products, packaged foods, etc., that will work well with the tenants' plans. Tenants offering supplies and products that support fishermen needs such as fishing supply gear and tackle. And finally, tenants that offer specific co-op souvenirs and gifts, a gift shop where souvenirs can be bought, clothing and other apparel, and other local items that promote local fisheries and the community. The second floor structure that is envisioned is a meeting or a venue office space, maritime learning center, a classroom intended to provide opportunities for boater and marine safety training, boaters interaction with the Coast Guard Reserve training and boat captain licensing programs that only would promote boating safety, workshops and seminars educating fishermen on existing or proposed new regulations affecting the fishing industry, including fishing conservation practices, maritime search and rescue equipment with maritime radio monitoring stations. We do that now, but it's basically in a makeshift operation. And value-added product development facility, again mentioned a bit above, with smoked fish, prepared fish, etc. For funding of the co-op 2000, the 2000 Co-op 2000 committee has been successful at securing funding from the Guam Economic Development Authority, GEDA, in the amount of $3 million from proceeds of the hotel occupancy tax, for which GEDA oversees and disperses to enhance Guam's economy. In addition, the Port Authority of Guam, the overseer of the Hagåtña Boat Basin, has also committed $995,000 towards the construction of the seawall. While these funding sources are essential to the co-op's vision as an updated seafood facility and marina, it will need additional funding sources to complete this vision. Below is the co-op's breakdown of construction phases and funding sources / needs, as well as equipment needs for the facility. The breakdown is based on the funding that is currently available, which includes the construction of Phase 1A and 1B. When additional funding is secured, the co-op would be able to complete Phases 2 and Phase 3. So with this breakdown, Senators, the seawall has been now subsidized by Port Authority to the tune of $995,000. Phase 1B is the first floor build-out, consisting of seafood handling, the receiving dock, processing room, and cold storage, a new fuel pump monitoring room, storefront and equipment thereof, a manager's office. Phase 2, which is the construction of the first floor for tenant spaces on the ground floor. And then finally, Phase 3, the second floor, which are the meeting and venue spaces for additional anchor tenants and uses that I mentioned also as well. The ancillary funding needs that I've listed also, that once the facility is constructed, we would need processing and refrigeration and freezer equipment, storefront chiller displays, ice maker for fish supply, fish disposal, macerator, and miscellaneous equipment, etc. That's about $300,000 is a rough estimate. Second floor tenant space finishings, carpeting, window treatments, etc. would also be approximately $112,000. There may even be some firefighting requirements, fire reserve tank requirements to meet fire protection requirements for the facility. That will have to be funded somehow in this contingency fund of about $472,000, and as well as the relocation to continue operations of the existing facility to 3 new containers that have already been erected but haven't been built out and finished for the temporary operations for the co-op. So the grand total that is for the project is about $6.8 million, of which $3 million is already funded, $1 million from the Port Authority, so an additional funding source of $3 million is being requested. Based on the above cost projections, the co-op will need an additional $3 million to complete the co-op 2000 vision as a facility that is designed to promote safe seafood handling, processing, and vending, serve as a fisherman's and boater learning center, house a marine emergency response station, accommodate a value-added product development facility, lease out stalls for vendors to offer locally caught seafood products in their menu, to sell fishing supplies, gear and tackle, and sell souvenir items aimed at promoting the co-op's fishing activities and island community. One thing that I haven't mentioned, and this is in addition to what we're trying to envision above, is that the co-op continues its ongoing commitment with the following: providing a used oil and battery collection area for mariners, so we help with protecting the environment, supporting the 4-H and the Youth Sustainable Fisheries Program with the University of Guam, foster its fisheries partnership with NOAA, that should be NOOA Science Center, the collection and compilation of fish data, size and weight and reproduction, maturity of the reef and the bottom fish species. And finally, E, hold, whenever feasible, practical and annual deep-sea fishing derbies. In conclusion, we are confident that passage of Resolution 63-36 will demonstrate to the U.S. Congress that we are earnestly in pursuit of improving our island's fisheries as a means of helping our local economy, and to that end, we ask Congress for their assistance in augmenting our funding towards this endeavor. Sincerely, Manny Dueñas and Kim Flores. At this time, I'd like to entertain any questions.
Before we get to questions, if we could just upload the rendering that was provided by Mr. Flores, just so that those who are watching in the public can see this.
Are you
I'll wait for I think my staff
uploading
was
that
going
now?
to do it by Zoom or the audio if they're able. Can we upload it on the Zoom and then switch to Zoom, please? Mr. Flores, I want to thank you, and especially President Manny Dueñas, for this testimony. It's so, what you have laid out, it's just so exciting for me. I think for all of our community, the plans that have been made by the Fishermen's Co-op Association over many years, they're thorough, they're exciting, there's a lot of learning, safety, economic expansion. It just really looks like it has the potential to really be a place people really want to be. And I know right now, you know, when Fishermen's Co-op is having activities, it is a place where people want to be. It's always welcoming and exciting, and the derbies are fantastic, and they do a lot of this voluntary. So I just want to thank you all for all of that over the years. But I'm really excited by what you've outlined in these plans, and I think the foresight of it.
Madam Speaker, it's not in my testimony, but I just want to mention to the public that despite the facility, we were getting 200 tourist walk-ins a day. A day. According to Mr. Dueñas, and they love that selfie in front of on that front door with the sign behind them. So it's quite a facility with for the tourists. Number two, it's our sales, total sales, I believe in one particular year in our heyday was in excess of 1.3, 1.4 million on an annual basis. So, and we had employed more than 20 to 25 employees at the co-op at one point in time. Our membership was as high as 130 that I recall. It may not be those numbers now, but it was quite, you know, the cooperative was a support for all fisheries where we can take advantage of economies of scale. You know, we get discounts on fuel, we get discounts on ice, we get discounts on fish products from other fishermen for sashimi, poke, kelaguen. Whatever products are produced as members, we also get that discount. As Senator Dueñas well know, he's been a board member and past and a member for many years, as long as I've been a member for, I think, for over 30 years now. It's a facility that we should cherish and promote.
Thank you. Thank you again. And so we're ready now to load this up on, if we could put it up for everyone. Here is the rendering of the Fisherman's Co-op. I don't know if you want to.
Sure, I can explain. What you see before you is actually the front of the building now facing the marina, the Agana Boat Basin. We don't, this is an artist rendition, so it's a virtual concept taken from the drawings, the CAD drawings. So you would actually drive around on the ocean side to park, and you would enter the facility, the storefront, at the ocean side facing the boat basin. One of the things that we had to do for this building, which also drove cost up, was the flood zone requirement. So we had to elevate the building 5 feet above ground with some breakaway borders around the bottom of the building. That increased the building. Its foundation requirements required several, I think up to 50 concrete piles. And that really put a constraint on the budget that was awarded to our local contractor. So there was some value engineering that was done an exercise to look at an effective foundation design. And what we decided was to delete the concrete piles and use a mat foundation, which is a monolithic one slab of concrete that's elevated above ground, and to help lighten the building any way possible. So some of the design was cut back due to budgetary constraints. Yeah.
Great. All right.
I'm free to answer any questions you have on this rendering.
Appreciate it. Yes, I'm going to invite my colleagues. I'd like to recognize that Senator James Moylan is with us on Zoom today as well. And again, I'm here with the minority leaders, Senator Cruz Dueñas and Senator Joanne Brown. And maybe I'll let them go first. So, Senator Dueñas.
Jesus Masi, Madam Speaker. Ken, welcome.
Hey, thanks.
First of all, I want to say to the public that's viewing out there today, and those who are taking part in this hearing, please lift up Manny in prayer. You know that there's absolutely nothing that would have stopped him from being here tonight, except for doctor's orders. So please pray for Manny and for quick healing and getting back to work at the co-op, and then also being with us to crack the bottle of champagne on the corner of the building when this is done. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the congressman for reaching out to us. I want to thank you for moving quickly to get this resolution introduced. And as you said, Ken, 15 members, and I understand there was absolutely no hesitation in getting the signatures on board here. And so I really have no questions. Ken, thank you, and Manny, for putting together a very comprehensive, as the speaker said, overview. And I believe this is simply because it's a culmination of many, many years of this dream coming to fruition. We've had a lot of dedicated individuals. The Gita money, of course, was also recognized by the late Speaker Ben Pangilinan, who saw this as a priority, and working with the governor's office during that time. The money was set aside because there was a lot of competing interest on the hot bonds at that time. And this was a priority. It was a priority from this legislature during that time. And it's still a priority. But we all now know right now the actions on the federal side, and the congressman has really been able to get our profile elevated. And I think he's going to bring this home for us, and it's something that's really needed. So no questions really, Ken, with the exception of maybe an understanding of with the totality of the funding secured, what would be an ideal a timeline? And I think they brought you on board and made sure that this was your task because of your engineering background, and not only that, but your love for fishing and the fishermen. So, I mean, is it even worth discussing just some timeline if all the funding were in place going forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just checked up front that, the contractor, my friend Joe Siket and Tommy Tanaka are listening on Zoom.
Oh, nice.
So I said, hey, make sure you guys are on this channel so that if I trip up on it, with anything, you guys can chime in. But I think they're just listening. We'd like to have, the seawall is really what's dictating the permitting with the Army Corps. We eliminated some features of the seawall by taking out some of the gabion baskets that is considered discharge fill material to be placed in the marina, and that now has been removed. And we just went with something simple with sheet piles, steel sheet piles with a concrete cap to provide the boardwalk. And we're extending the seawall to about 120 feet. That's what's being planned for permitting now. The nice thing about that is when fishing derbies, Senator, you know that it's very crowded there. So now that allows parking or mooring of additional vessels along that new seawall for offloading your fish or getting or unloading some supplies on the vessels, right? So if we start late this month, May, and we start the permitting process, that's a 90-day nationwide permit that is required. There's going to be some dredging to increase right along the seawall because it's shallow. We're going to dredge some of that material. That would be disposed of upland, so now it's easier to deal with in terms of a permit. And so sheet piling is very common and will fall easily, according to my discussions with the Army Corps, easily under a nationwide permit, which already has been vetted for NEPA and alternative effects analysis, etc. Very shortly thereafter, we're just trying to wrap up the final details of the building design for DPW permitting. We'd like to follow that concurrently with the seawall. It's not necessary, but I think we can. I'm just pushing Joe and Tommy to do that, but it may start under in May or June. Hopefully, the permit process doesn't take very long with the government agencies. We normally plan for 60 days building permits. We'd like to get it in 45 days, and then a 30-day mobilization. So by June, mid-July, you would have a building permit to construct. On or about the same time, you would have an Army Corps permit to construct the seawall. 2 DPW permits would go in for the seawall and the building at the same time. Then construction will take us through next year, right around 3Q, maybe perhaps 4Q. But yeah, it's exciting. The challenges that we're facing with this site is that it's reclaimed land, and the soil conditions were very poor as a result of some of the investigations we did. So the foundations for this building were very challenging. So we moved it away from the seawall to find better stability in the soils, and that's where we're going to build. We're going to build the new building. And also avoid a lot of concrete piling that's very costly for this structure. So 3Q, 4Q perhaps, Senator, is probably when we would do the groundbreaking, and not the ribbon, the champagne. That's when we do the toasting for the new fishermen.
That's the tradition on the vessel, Madam Speaker. So we might duplicate on the building the champagne. Ken, I'll just wrap it up, but man, it's really exciting. That timeline is exciting, and I think just for the viewing public, for their understanding as well, this is not just the fisherman's co-op. That new seawall to be built and that additional dock space is going to accommodate a lot of the marine activities that happen down there, Madam Speaker. There'll be other opportunities for some of the dive boats, some of the other boats as needed to be able to have the utility. And Madam Speaker, also a lot of vessels, other than fishing vessels, also require fueling and the like. This is just going to make it so much safer and so much more environmentally friendly. So this is just incredibly comprehensive, something that Guam needs. You stole my selfie. I was gonna tell about that one because I used to tease Manny when I go in and I see all the tourists buying fish. I would shake my head and go, "Ay, de Manny, it's in a co-op." And he said, "No, Bobek, don't kid yourself. They love this place." There's millions of photos of this co-op all over Asia, and from our guests. And so You're absolutely right on, but,
I think, just to add on, it's running a co-op. It's not a cheap endeavor, with fixed labor costs, other requirements. There's got to be some means to generate additional revenues to support operations. And I think that was Manny's intention, was to have an anchor tenant of some sort with long-term leasing to help support the co-op, promote the fisheries, promote the products that the fishermen catch, and then develop other products like smoked fish or what can be done with their innovation and their ideas. And so that was the idea here, was to help self-sustain, even in the laws of the seasonality of fishing. When there's no fish being caught, at least you have some revenues coming in to support the co-op operation.
Absolutely, Ken. I know that every visit that I have to family in Seattle, one of the first things I ask is, let's head down to Ballard and that area,
right,
and go to the dock and have lunch at Chinook's and just hang out around there. Even the fishing store there, the fish store there, will always tell us, we make good money on the fish, but this restaurant and all the trinkets and just people coming and enjoying themselves down there is really what. And so you're absolutely right. The vision of this is right on. It's timely. And the people of Guam deserve this. Our capital city deserves this. It really speaks to who we are.
Yeah.
I know the Farmers Co-op has been very successful, and that was millions and millions of dollars as well. And this will just continue to provide that synergy, Ken.
On the second floor, just if you notice, there's an open deck.
Right.
And so the open deck, God forbid that COVID doesn't continue, when we have outdoor dining. I mean, there's an opportunity there for whoever has the ideas to develop that open deck. And you have a beautiful view of the marina. So, it's something else. It's leasable space for somebody to have a party, reception party, whatever is desired. It's an opportunity to even use that outdoor space.
Absolutely. So, Madam Speaker, in closing, I just want to congratulate Ken, too. He's going to laugh on this one, but recently he became a grandpa again, and he's got another fisherman in preparation. So, congratulations,
Thank
Ken.
you.
And, the grandkids, I know for sure, will be coming into the dock, hopefully with winning marlin or yellowfin when they join you for the Derby at the new Fisherman's Co-op. So,
there's one problem with this project that is on my shoulders. I don't have time to go fishing now until this is completed.
Well, we got to fix that. Let's get it done so we can get back on the water.
Back to you, Madam Speaker.
Thank
you.
Madam Speaker, and thanks again, Ken. Thanks for really helping Manny and all of us at the co-op by taking on this responsibility. But I know that it's a pure labor of love for you. So thank you to everyone at the co-op, all of the board members, and everybody who's going to see through this dream.
Thank you very much.
Senator Brown, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Certainly good evening to Ken Flores. Good to see you again in your other capacity. My last life in the Guam legislature, we're talking probably 15, 16, 17 years ago, was when the whole legislation went through with regards to the lease of the property. And this discussion that we're having this evening that certainly Senator Dueñas elaborated on was discussed then. And we were actually looking forward to the restaurant that was going to be opening because we assumed it was definitely going to be a seafood restaurant. As you mentioned, the location is a very ideal place, certainly for our island residents and visitors coming down. One of the things we don't do as much on Guam is really take advantage of our natural beauty and our proximity to the ocean. And it certainly matched very well together with the agenda of the Fishermen's Co-op. And then, as you mentioned, the subsidiary potential for business that could help support the co-op and its activities. So I'm certainly looking forward to the completion of this project. As you mentioned, it's been a long time in coming in putting all these pieces together. Certainly Mr. Dueñas, Manny Dueñas has always been such an advocate of this project for so many years, and I think collectively everyone's looking forward to seeing the construction of this facility and the ultimate outcome of how this is going to benefit our community. I'm sure having you, Mr. Flores, on board is almost like a guarantee that we look forward to seeing the completion, because I'm sure that you will be very focused on wanting to see this project completed as well. So I really don't have any other comments other than that, and certainly look forward to being up on the roof one evening and having
That's
a nice
right.
dinner there with my family,
That's
as
right.
I'm sure many people
we
on
can have
Guam.
a beer or a glass of wine up there very soon. That's my vision and my focus.
I think those
is
are
to
the
get
good.
it done.
Yes, and those, especially after the last year, now a year and a half that we are going through this, I think those simpler, more enjoyable moments and appreciating the natural beauty of our island and our family and friends are probably the highest things on our list these days after everything we've seen. So I certainly look forward to the completion of this project. As I mentioned, it's been a long time in the making, and I think we'd like to see it come to its
Sure, and
conclusion.
this is a valuable addition to the Capitol.
Yes, definitely.
And we want it to be an iconic building and a
Yes.
facility where everybody who comes to Agana, whether they be running the track or fishing or buying fish products, at least they would remember this facility for a long time to come.
Well, and it's one of those things that continue to make Guam good, so we certainly
Yeah.
look forward to it.
Sure.
With that, thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. I'd like to recognize Senator Moylan, who's with us on Zoom right now.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Flores, for your presentation. Really enjoyed looking at the design as well. It's a project I believe is long overdue, and we're really looking forward to it. I also want to thank Congressman Mike San Nicolas for bringing this forward and getting the initiative working for us. I'm looking forward to moving this measure quickly across the floor, and so we can all support the endeavors of Fishermen's Co-op. And Mr. Flores, one day we'll have a cheers up on top of on the balcony there. So thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Senator
Senator.
Moylan. I think what they said, I totally agree. Many dreams went into this, a lot of hard work over many years. And when the more I think about it, the more you talk about it, the more excited I get about what a beautiful, if we added one thing to Agatna and we put our hot bond money into one thing in Agatna, this had to be it, and it's going to be beautiful. And thank you for your work. Again, thank you to Manny Dueñas for all his work over the years, advocating for the bond money, for the lease, for the bond money to go here, to make sure that when they start to have issues that, we find another way. And I want to thank, so many members of the Fishermen's Co-op came up to hearings to ensure that the legislature made it a priority and that it was included in different legislations. There were several, because I've researched this when they did the first groundbreaking of the co-op, and there were so many legislations to support the co-op. And so here we are, many years later, finally getting to use this hot bond money and hopefully the additional money to cover the additional expenses because of what you described, the challenges that because of the ground and other things. And also, it took the whole community, and the governor, this year put in, the port put in the additional money for the seawall. And so I hope it's a great example to Congress, and that our congressman is successful in his bid to get those community support grants for this project. I think it's a perfect project for the entire community. I want to read again your whole list, and thank you for, again, the details that you put into your testimony as to what this space is going to include. And just the economic diversification parts of it are so exciting. But the community parts, when you describe, I have so many fond memories of the Fishermen's Co-op, and that's just because the fishermen have made it welcoming, and they've made it accessible for all of us in the community. They've made it practical. They've made it, they've helped us to, help our families through their work and their endeavors. And so again, I can't say enough about, I'm gonna, I hope you don't mind, attach your testimony to any press release I issue, so that I'm hoping the media is going to pick up on all the details of what's going to be included in this building. It's beautiful, beautiful. And again, thank you all. And prayers for you, Manny, if you're listening. And safety for all of you fishermen. And Jesus Masi.
Jesus Masi, thank you.
Again, thanks again to all my colleagues here today with me at the hearing, and all 15 senators unanimously supported this. I was very excited about that, and I'm very proud that we are going to put this type of representation to Congress. So we hope we can get this on our agenda this week as well, and get even a vote on it. Thanks to the congressman for reaching out to me to work together on this, and for everybody's work in the community on this. And thank you for your testimony, for being here today. So there being no additional testimony for tonight, this public hearing is now adjourned, and the time is 6:30 p.m. Si Dios mas y todos.
Thanks.